Hi, I'm Aunt Jenner, and I love to read stories to kids. Have you ever wondered where all the stories in the world come from? Well, this story tells exactly where the stories of the world come from. It's called A Story by Gail E. Haley. We do not really mean that what we are about to say is true. A story, let it come, let it go. Once, oh small children, round my knee, there were no stories on earth to hear. All the stories belonged to Naomi, the sky god. He kept them in a golden box next to his royal stool. There is the sky god. Nancy, the Spider-Man, wanted to buy the sky god stories. So he spun a web up to the sky. And Nancy's spinning his web up to the sky. When the sky god heard what Anansi wanted, he laughed, "Twee, twee, twee. The price of my stories is that you bring me Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mboro, the hornet who stings like fire, and Emoitia, the fairy whom men never see." Anansi bowed and answered, "I shall gladly pay the price." "Tweet, tweet, tweet," chuckled the sky god. "How can a weak little man like you, so small, so small, so small, pay my price?" But Anansi merely climbed down to earth to find the things that the sky god demanded. Anansi ran along the jungle path, yeardy, 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 till he came to Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth. "Oh, Anansi," said the leopard, "you are just in time to be my lunch." Anansi replied, "As for that, what will happen, but first, let us play the binding game." The leopard, who was fond of games, asked, "How is it played?" "With vine creepers," explained Anansi. "I will bind you by your foot, by your foot, by your foot. Then I will untie you, and you can tie me up." "Very well," growled the leopard, who planned to eat Anansi as soon as it was his turn to bind him. So Anansi tied the leopard by foot, by foot, by foot, by foot, with the vine creepers. Then he said, "Now, Osebo, you are ready to meet the sky god." And he hung and tied the leopard in the tree in the jungle. He had tricked the leopard, hadn't he? Next, Anansi cut a frond from the banana tree and filled a calabash with water. he crept through the tall grass, sora, 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 till he came to the nest of Emboro, the hornets who sting like fire. See the nest in the tree. Anansi held the banana leaf over his head as an umbrella, and then he poured some of the water in the calabash over his head. The rest he emptied on the hornet's nest and cried, "It is raining, raining, raining! Should you not fly into the calabash so that the rain will not tatter your wings?" "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you," the hornet said, and then flew into the calabash. Then, thump! Anansi quickly stopped the mouth of the gourd. "Now, Emboro, you are ready to meet the sky god," said Anansi, and he hung the calabash full of the hornets into the tree next to the leopard. Anansi now carved a little wooden doll holding a bowl. He covered the doll from top to bottom with sticky latex gum, and then he filled the doll's bowl with pounded yams. What kind of a trick is he going to play next? He set the little doll at the foot of the flamboyant tree where fairies like to dance. Anansi tied one end of the vine round the doll's head, and holding the other end in his hand, he hid behind a bush. In a little while, Emoitia, the fairy whom no man sees, came dancing, dancing, dancing to the foot of the flamboyant tree. There she saw the doll holding the bowl of yams. Moitia said, "Come, baby, I am hungry. May I eat your yams?" Anansi pulled at the vine he was in his hiding place, so that the doll seemed to nod its head. So the fairy took the bowl from the doll and ate the yams. "Thank you, Gum Baby," said the fairy, but the doll did not answer. "Don't you reply when I thank you?" cried the angry fairy. The doll did not speak. "Gum Baby, I'll slap you in your crying place unless you answer me," shouted the fairy. But the wooden doll remained still and silent. So the fairy slapped his crying place with her hand. "Pah!" And her hand stuck fast to the Gum Baby's cheek. "Let go of my hand or I'll slap you again," said the fairy. And pah! She slapped the doll's crying place with her other hand. Now the fairy was stuck to the Gum Baby with both hands, and she was furious. She pushed against the doll with her feet, and they also stuck fast. Now, Anansi came from his hiding place. "You are ready to meet the sky god, Emoitia," and he carried her to the tree where the leopard and the hornets were waiting. Anansi spun a web around Osebo, Mburo, and Moitia, and then he spun a web to the sky. He pulled up his captives behind him and set them down at the feet of the sky god. "Oh, Naomi," said Anansi, bowing low, "here is your price that you asked for your stories." Osebo, the leopard of the terrible teeth, Mburo, the hornets who sting like fire, and Moitia, the fairy whom man never sees. Naomi, the sky god, called together all the nobles of his court and addressed them in a loud voice. "Little Anansi, the Spider-Man, has paid me the price I asked for my stories. Sing his praise, I command you." "And from this day and going on forever," proclaimed the sky god, "my stories belong to Anansi and shall be called Spider Stories." "Ee, ee, ee," shouted all the assembled nobles. So Anansi took the golden box of stories back to earth to the people of his village. And when he opened the box, all the stories scattered to the corners of the world, including this one. "And this is my story, which I have related. If it be sweet, or if it be not sweet, take some elsewhere, and let some come back to me." So there are hundreds of stories all over the world today, and we'll read some more stories on another day.